Soldiers of Shoot.
All right. Daddy Cool AC, the Sultan of Swag, the Captain of Cool, Iiiconic AC in the building. Soldiers of Shoot. What's up, everybody? We're going to talk some wrestling, if you will. Oh, man. I gotta say, it's, I just find it a very strange time. We're kind of still waiting for the AEW to kick off and save us. Even with the few shows they're going to do, spring, summer, we won't really know everything about that until the fall, which is a big time for the WWE heading to Fox. And they might be in all-out crisis mode when you lose a percentage of the audience that they lost this week, heading out of WrestleMania season, heading out of the Superstar shakeup fiasco. Here's what I'll say. The crazy part is, there was, and I know the great Hollywood Edwards, our lieutenant there, did a show already on a Raw review. That was tremendous. Give that a listen if you haven't already. Right here on the Soldiers of Shoot YouTube channel. Heading out of Raw, there was some stuff that was actually refreshing. And it's not even that I hate to admit it. I don't hate to admit it. I want to admit it. It's almost like, damn, they lost that audience because of the garbage they've given you before, during, and after WrestleMania. And they actually may have turned a corner. I don't want to get ahead of myself. A lot of it wasn't good. But there were some, if you're looking for signs of changes, signs of maybe a different way of doing things, I mean, I don't know how to get into all the examples, but my biggest example is the Firefly Funhouse, the new Bray Wyatt gimmick, the way they presented him. I mean, call me crazy, it was pretty good. Now, of course, we're all going to be cynics. We're all going to be glass half empty. Where do they go from here? What do they do with them? They'll probably screw them up again. I mean, we can all say that, but if you want to sit there, I mean, to me, that's the same tired conversation. Why not give it the positive, the non-cynical side of the whole thing and say, are they turning the corner? And I only mention this because they didn't have Bray Wyatt return at the Royal Rumble. They didn't have Bray Wyatt return in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania. They didn't have Bray Wyatt return on the Raw and Smackdown following WrestleMania with the Smarky crowd. They repackaged him and didn't even return him in arena. They gave him that vignette, that pre-produced segment. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. We've touched on it. We haven't gone far with it on different shows. But, you know, when guys used to debut, they used to get... It wasn't just these, you know... coming next week is NXT Superstar. And then, it's Ricochet. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's Aleister Black. Oh, my God. With this repackaging of Bray Wyatt here, they gave you one of those pre-produced segments. That's not a knock. It was very good. That we've seen in the past where maybe you didn't know a guy and they kind of gave you that kind of production, that kind of lead in, that kind of incidents to wet your beak. Instead of saying, man, this guy wrestled on NXT, they know them already. Which, we could get into the War Raiders, War Machine, Viking Raiders, Viking Experience. This whole fiasco, once again, here down the road. I don't really want to go there with that tonight, but I think, if they wanted to sell you on that Viking Experience, even if they wanted to call them the Viking Raiders, having them drop those NXT titles, having them disappear from NXT programming for a couple months, showing those pre-produced segments, those pre-produced vignettes, and then introducing them, you almost would buy it more because they're presenting that character, giving you that character. I heard Hollywood talking about Bobby Roode, this whole Robert Roode thing with the mustache, and the second coming of a Ravishing Rick Rude, or is he, wow. My memory has escaped me once again. You know what happens all the time. I was even saying it to Hollywood Edwards and to DJ Stames. Is he gonna have the mustache and the chest hair and the cop glasses? And are we gonna call him Joey Ryan? As it pops in my head, finally, I knew it would. And you guys know I love Joey Ryan and everything he does. So it wasn't that. It was just a lapse in memory there, but it came back to me. I knew it would. As I was rambling on, I was like, it's going to come to me, and I was like, Joey Ryan. But, we could bring up the Joey Ryans, the Ravishing Rick Rudes, the Val Venus, the whole deal. But like Hollywood said, this was very just thrown out there. Where are they going with this? Let's see it before we believe it type of thing. And maybe with some... Bobby Roode disappears for a few weeks, and then you see some vignettes, and then he comes back as Robert Roode. You're like, oh, okay, all right. But there's none of that other than this Bray Wyatt repackaging. So I always do this to be fair. I really do. I do this to be fair. I want to give credit where it's due, and when I don't like something, I'm going to say it. And yeah, for the last few months, I've probably disliked more than I've liked. But when I like something, I'm not going to lie about it and be like, oh, no, oh, what are they doing? Oh, I hated the Viking Raiders, the Viking Experience. I hated all that. But this Bray Wyatt thing, I mean, isn't that what we've been asking for? I want to have my cake and eat it too. We all do, but isn't that what we've been asking for? Thinking outside the box, something interesting. If they kill it, they kill it. We could get there. Trust me, we'll hammer them when they kill it. But can we not point out a positive? Can most people in this wrestling community, this internet wrestling community, this YouTube wrestling community, this podcast wrestling community, can you not dislike a lot of what they do, but then point out the good stuff when it's good? Or at least the positives when they're positive, or at least the something that can be positive? I mean, if you're going to think everything's negative, if you're going to take that stance, if you're going to take the stance that nothing can ever be good, then why do you watch? I think a lot of us shit on a lot of it, but still watch with the hope that, damn, they're going to give me a reason to watch next week. There was granted, few and far between, but there was a couple times, probably one or two, probably like one, but either way, there was a time or two that during this WrestleMania run, we said we wanted to see what happened next week. And now you have this. So, listen, sooner or later, changes are going to have to be made. It's going to have to be upgraded. Something's going to give, and it'll be changed. I don't know if they're there. I don't know if they're there yet. But what I would say is this. As much as I want to sit here and tell you the WWE should overreact to these ratings that they had this week in comparative to what they had the last 6 weeks. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to do it for this reason. Little by little, there are subtle changes that are positive. And here's what I don't want. I don't want them to overreact to the drop-off of the last 2 weeks and just say, "Oh, we got to revert back to what we were doing. Oh, this is not going to work. Get Brock back in here." And I'm not sold on Seth Rollins as a champion either. I get it. But get Brock in here. He's got to win the title. All right, pal. We're going to bring him in next week, and he's going to get his rematch, his guaranteed rematch. I know we said we're not going to do that, pal, but we'll just forget about that. The rules change. He can get his rematch, and he wins the title, pal, because the ratings are dropping. That's what I don't want. I'd rather see them stay the course, lose a couple 100,000 more, even dip below 200,000, but stay the course and actually give you some stories, actually give you some characters, and actually say, we're going to take the hit now for the future. It'll be very interesting to see how that all plays out. Because you see those subtle changes, but now you see the ratings dip again. And when do they say we're going to go back to, bread and butter? And I'm fearful for them. I'm fearful for the guy, Roman Reigns, because if Brock Lesnar's not around, the bread and butter for them is Roman Reigns. It's not AJ Styles. AJ Styles might win the title off Seth, but they're going to put a title on Roman Reigns. They're going to put him on every morning show and midday show and back on Mike Francesa and everything else. And they're going to kill Kofi to do it. And that is going to make everyone turn on Reigns when others in the YouTube world had say it would never happen. It would never happen because they used this cancer to get him over for life. Geniuses out there. Anyway, I know sold a lot, but I got to get a zinger in there every now and then. I could see Vince going that route and turning the fans back on Roman very quickly under that scenario. I will say this. I know they got 3-4 Raws and 3-4 SmackDowns to get there. It might be 3, might not be 4. And they got some matches put together for Money in the Bank, but give us those Money in the Bank matches quickly here. Or start building them quickly here. This week, maybe get 2 guys in there, 2 girls in it. However they break it down. They may do 2, they may do 3, who knows. But start getting some people in there, even if you don't totally sell the match. Because at the end of the day, the reason why the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is so big is because it's one of those different pay-per-views. It's like the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is like the 90s baby Royal Rumble. It was like the late 80s. Yeah, I shouldn't say 90s baby. I should probably say 2000s. That's probably a fair assessment. So if you're in my realm of a wrestling fan where, you became a wrestling fan, in between those, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 era of WrestleMania, or maybe up to 10, you get a couple Rumbles under your belt, and that's the kind of wrestling fan you are. Maybe this is the, Money in the Bank is as it's split off to its own pay-per-view, reminds me of the 2000 era fan, the late Attitude era fan, Royal Rumble type pay-per-view. I look forward to it more than Survivor Series. I thought they got away from what made Survivor Series good a long time ago. I still don't think they capture it. I think they just utilize it just to keep the name going. There's no real story or anything good behind it. But Money in the Bank, I don't feel that way. SummerSlam, I feel like they make it a big pay-per-view. Royal Rumble is impossible to not be a big pay-per-view, and obviously WrestleMania is the pinnacle. But I put Money in the Bank ahead of Survivor Series as the top, 5 pay-per-view for WWE, and probably you'd say TLC would be a 6. maybe Elimination Chamber. It depends on who it is, I guess. But you see where I'm going with all that. Again, the overall theme to this whole thing is as bad as things are, when you see something good, it's okay to enjoy it. It's okay to say it's good. Listen, we're going to crush everything we don't like, but when we get something we like, we're going to say it. And there's some very good positives. Are surrounded by negatives. Negative ratings. Will Vince stay the course? Will they overreact? My guess is, why overreact now? October's a big time for you. Why not stay the course now and right the ship now? I don't know if they view it that way. I hope they do. I hope they stick with some of this stuff. And I think there's a lot of ways they could go with that Bray Wyatt character. And if that becomes successful, does that morph into doing it more? We can only hope. But for Soldiers to Shoot, I'm the Captain of Cool, the Captain of Swag, Captain Chaos, the one and only Daddy Cool AC, Iiiconic AC, right here on the Soldiers of Shoot YouTube channel, at Soldiers of Shoot on Twitter, at Bleeding for Truth on Twitter, at DJ Stames on Twitter, at Steamtown Stunner, the one and only Electric City Saint, Bobby Ventura on Twitter, at AC Cooldown on Twitter. I'm Addy Cool AC. Soldiers of Shoot, we out.
Soldiers of Shoot.